Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Merkley. Dr. Woodstock, thank you for coming here today. And we're here today because of huge spikes in the prices of some specific prescription medications. And I share Senator Udall's concerns, what he's seen in New Mexico, where we've seen a 400% increase in the price of that EpiPen. That's kind of been the poster child of late here as it relates to what's going on in pricing. It's a life-saving drug. It's a delivery system that not only people in New Mexico rely on, people in Montana and all across the nation. Without the competition, of course, on the market, these spikes will go unchecked. I'm greatly concerned about the impact on Montanans, some of whom have to choose between buying their prescription drugs and buying food. We need to increase competition, as you've already mentioned, creating market checks on the price of drugs and decreasing costs for those who need them. In your testimony, you highlight the savings that generic drugs afford, saving some $1.68 trillion over the past 10 years. In Montana, that has translated to $682 million saved in 2014. For example, according to the Generic Pharmaceutical Association's forthcoming Generic Drug Savings in the United States report, Lipitor, a common cholesterol drug, it was $3.29 a pill before the generic was introduced in 2011. That generic now sells for 14 cents a pill, a 96% savings. So my question is, what are the FDA and the Office of Generic Drugs doing to incentivize the production of more generics, particularly when there's little or no competition, while maintaining, of course, drug quality and drug safety?
Well, what we do is, number one, we expedite applications where there's no competition. So if it's a first generic, if there's just a brand, okay, we expedite that competition. And as I said, often nowadays with the modern program we have, we will approve multiple copies at once because that often will drive the price down more than a single copy. If there's just one generic and the reference drug has been withdrawn, so we have a sole source situation, then we will expedite that as well, that application. Or multiple applications because we don't know which one is going to actually get approved.
So kind of going along that line of thinking, these reducing the barriers to generics entering the market would clearly help create other examples like Lipitor by reducing the turbulence we see in the market and decreasing costs. The FDA has proposed a rule to modify labeling requirements for generics, but there are significant concerns that this would prevent some generics from actually getting to market. Since you've delayed the publication of the final rule now until next year, what revisions are you considering to help bring generics to the market?
Well, this rule isn't about helping bring generics to the market. We got a lot of comments on the rule. We had a public meeting after the proposed rule was published, and we've received a large number of comments from stakeholders, and we're still evaluating those comments.
Now, in looking at what do you mean by turbulence and in terms of a concrete example, it was brought to my attention that there are certain applications now being assigned what they call target goal dates instead of target action dates. As you know, a goal date is not binding, giving little clarity to the applicant. What are you doing to address those concerns?
Well, under the agreement we made under the Generic Drug User Fee Act, okay, we agreed to have goals for 2014, 14, 15, and 16, okay? And so in 2016, there will be a goal, okay, of 10 months. And if someone sends in October 1 of this year, if they send in a approvable application, it can be reviewed and responded to and on the market in 10 months.
But a goal date is not binding.
Well, sometimes there are other factors that come in. We have goals. Our goal is we would do 90% of them within the 10 months. That's how our PDUFA program works too, Prescription Drug User Fee
So you think by shifting more to these goal dates versus action dates, it would actually speed up the process and create more certainty?
The earlier dates that target action dates were for the backlog that didn't have any goals associated with it. Our agreement under that was we would take an action on 90% of those by the end of the 5 years. And we already did that. So we exceeded that by 15 months. We've acted on almost all of those. So
My time's up, Dr. Woodstock. I'm sorry. I will just, to conclude, I understand there's currently more than 14,000 approved generics. And I believe that incentivizing new, safe, and effective generics and promoting competition is very important for Montanans and all Americans. And so thank you for your thoughtful comments. I encourage you to facilitate this by reducing these barriers to entry and by providing stability for manufacturers to be able to plan effectively and to continue to bring safe and quality generic drugs to market. Clearly, we've seen a lot of great successes there. Thanks, Dr. Woodstock.